morning, everyone. So today I'm going to show you how you can take something as simple as some green onions from the grocery store or some leeks and even a pineapple and regrow a plant from that. So let's get started. So we'll start with the green onion. On the green onions, you will see that there is a root end. That is the part that we are going to be cutting off and starting a new onion plant from it. So I just go ahead and cut off the white end, and I can either put this in a jar of water and start it rooting immediately, or I can put it in the soil, and within 48 hours you will actually see new growth on the green onions. And as they grow, you can then just cut the green tops off as you need them for your cooking. The second thing that we're going to be growing is carrots. Now, we actually will not be growing the root part of the carrot. It will only be the green tops, but they taste quite good in salads and soups, stews. So while you're not going to get the root vegetable, to have those greens as an option to go ahead and throw in your recipes is always nice. I'm going to cut the ends off of all of them and start them all rooting, and then the rest of it will go into my soup this afternoon. So usually cut anywhere from 1 to 2 inches. And this is the part that's going to be going against the soil. This is where the green actually grows from. So the third one I'm going to show you is romaine lettuce from Walmart. And all you do is cut off the root end. Usually 1 to 2 inches, just to give it a good start. As you can see, it'll stay a solid piece. We're going to put the flat end into the dirt, and within anywhere from 5 to 7 days, you will start to see new little leaf sprouts coming up. It will grow lettuce, which you can go ahead and cut with your scissors or pick off the leaves. All right, and the fourth one is celery. And I love celery leaves. If you watch my cooking videos, you will know that I use celery leaves quite often. So I'm going to do just like I did with the lettuce. I'm just going to cut off about 1 inch or so off the bottom. So this is what you end up with. And just like with the lettuce, we're going to put the root end into the dirt. And then within 5 to 7 days, you will see new celery leaves sprouting. And they don't grow like really good stalks like you would in your garden from celery seeds, but they grow fairly decent size. And the leaves are very, very tasty. So that is one that you can do like in your indoor kitchen garden and go ahead and cut off the leaves as needed for different recipes. Okay, so then we're also going to do leeks. And leeks are very much like green onions. And I think I'm going to just do one, which is all I need for tonight's soup. So I'm going to cut off about 2 inches off the bottom. So I'm going to put the root end into the dirt. You will start seeing new little sprouts coming off the top, and you can go through and cut them when they're quite small and tender, or you can wait till it gets slightly larger. This is one, just like with green onions, where they will continue to grow for a very long time. I've had green onions that I started this same way that were in my garden for 5 years that we just cut off of. So with the leeks, I normally don't have much luck beyond 2 years, but it'll be interesting to see how long this one lasts. So then we have a fun one, ginger. Ginger is actually really cheap in the grocery store. I go to Natural Grocers, and this piece of ginger I think costs 60 cents maybe. But just because it is so cheap in the store, I have not been particularly drawn to grow it until now. So what you want to have is pieces that are right around 2 inches across and 2 inches thick. So I picked this one because I'm going to get 2 pieces out of it, break it in half, and then we're just going to put it right in the dirt. And this takes a little bit longer. It can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks before you start to see fresh greens growing up from it. This is just your cheap, basic, non-organic avocado from Walmart. Now they're about 90 cents a piece. And what we're going to do is cut the pit out. I have a wonderful spoon that has little spikes on it. I think it's for like grapefruit maybe, but I use it for pitting my avocados because it just pits them so nicely. So we're going to take that out. We're going to rinse it off, set it aside for 1 day for it to kind of get a little bit hard on the skin, and then I'll show you how to poke it with toothpicks and get it started in a glass of water. So this is one that I can actually show you that we have growing in our house. We have a pineapple plant that was started with this same method about 1.5 years ago, and it has been repotted 2 times already. We have not gotten any fruit off of it yet, but it is a really awesome plant. It looks great on the porch in the summertime, and I am hopeful. So I can't say for sure that you will actually get pineapples from it. Everything that I've read and other videos I've watched, people do, but we've had ours for 1.5 years, have not gotten a pineapple yet, so I don't know if my conditions are wrong, if it's too cold. I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna go ahead and try another one. Decent sized chunk to go ahead and put in the dirt, and that's it. So last but not least, there are herbs. This is a trick that I learned about 3 or 4 years ago. I was at Walmart and saw some of these organic herbs on discount, and they were discounted quite a bit. I think they were down to 25 cents a piece. And so I thought, I wonder if I can grow them. So if it doesn't go in the dehydrator, I'm gonna try and put it in the ground. So I brought them home, stripped off the bottom leaves, put them in cups of water, and sure enough, they rooted it, and I put them in my yard that year. Oh my gosh, it just smells so good. I love rosemary. So if you were doing a cutting like this from your own plant, you would not want something that was flowering or that was looking like it was seeded out. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and strip off all of the bottom leaves, so I end up with a nice stem that we're going to go ahead and put in the water. I'll set that aside. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and start 2 rosemary. No, maybe I'll start 3. Well, you know what? There's 4 of them in there. So what we're going to do is root 4 of them. So let me prep these real quick. So several years back, my neighbor has always admired my garden, and she decided to start her own. So she came over and got a bunch of pallets from us, and bless that lady, she broke them down all by herself, built a raised garden bed, and has grown her own veggies in the years since. Spread the love, people. So I'm going to do the same as I did with the rosemary, and I'm just going to pick off the bottom leaves to kind of create a little bit of a stalk. And then I'm also going to show you how to do mint. Mint is invasive. I have never had any issue growing mint. Every time I put it in any part of my garden, I have to be careful because it will take over that entire section. Mint is a perennial, which means that it does come back every year. And again, my neighbor may want some, so I will have some ready to offer her. All right, now we get to start the fun part, putting everything into the dirt. Okay, so what I have here is a tray that I made from pallets several years ago. So I love going to my recycle center there, and there were stacks of these little pots. So I brought home a ton of them. And then this is just Miracle Grow potting mix. You can buy it at any Walmart or big box store. So I have the cut end, and I'm just going to kind of make a little well for it and press it in. And that's it. All right, so let's do the carrots. And we're just going to kind of press it into the soil. And I think I can get 2 to 3 carrots per pot. Yep, it looks like 3 is going to be the magic number. And that may look like overcrowding, but because we are not actually growing a root vegetable from it, we're just growing the greens, that's going to be sufficient space. Let's do our leek, what I picked. And just give it a good press in, and press the dirt in around it. So next is the celery. Remember, we're going to put the root end down. And it looks like this pot might be a little tight for it, but once there's some growth on it, I will go ahead and transplant. You're going to see new growth of the celery from the top part. It's going to be leafy at first, and then you'll get little tiny stalks. And it looks like the romaine lettuce is also going to be a tight fit, just like the celery. Just kind of dig a little well, press it in, and soon you'll have fresh lettuce sprouting from the top. So now we have the ginger, and all you do is just about 1 inch or so into the soil, dig a little hole, press it in, and cover it up. So then we have our green onions. I'm going to put 4 of them into the dirt, and then I'm going to show you how to root the others in water, and then we'll transfer to dirt later on. With your root end down, I'm just going to poke a little hole with a pen and stick that in. And we want to have at least 1/4 inch of the green poking up. And our final pot is for something that I'm going to insert right now. So an onion is another vegetable that you can purchase at the store that you can grow. You're going to want to cut off about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of the bottom. You can see this is where the onion had been rooted in the ground, and this is the green part that is above the ground that grows nice green stalks. So for now, I'm going to take the onion that we're going to be regrowing, and I'm going to put it root end down into this small ramekin, and we're going to let it sit for the next 12 to 24 hours. What we're wanting to do is have it start to get hardened over the top, and then I will show you how to go ahead and plant it in your soil. It has skinned over, and so I'm going to plant it root end down. Now, just like with the carrots, it's not going to grow another root vegetable, but what it will grow is greens, just like you'd have on a green onion. And I just press it in and wait for the greens, which usually on the white onions, it takes about 5 to 7 days to really see anything significant. Okay, and as I spoke of earlier, that I like to go to the recycle center and collect things, the other thing that I collect is pill bottles, which is kind of an odd thing, but they work great for little planters, or when you are just rooting something in water and you don't need a really big container. Another thing that works really well is a shot glass. Now, you don't want to fill them up too full. You want to make sure that you have a little bit of space left, because the plant is going to displace some of the water. All right, so first we have the sage. Now, part of the problem when you're doing multiples into a container like this is as they start to root, the roots can become entangled. But if that happens, I'll show you how to separate them. So then we just put them all in water. So on the mint, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to do the same thing. Just stick them in. So the cut end down. You can see why we strip the leaves off. so that they've got plenty of stock in the water. And then on the rosemary, we'll do those as well. And then here's the last one we're going to do. I'm going to show you how you can also root the green onions in the water. So you just go ahead and put them in just like that. And usually within 48 hours, you will see fresh growth. So we have pineapple, carrots, leek, celery, ginger, which you can't see, a yellow onion, which we cut yesterday and hardened over, another ginger, romaine lettuce, 4 green onions, then we have mint, rooting in water, garden sage also rooting in water, rosemary in the water, and some other green onions in the water. And then last but not least, this is the pineapple plant. It's really hard to show the size that it is. The fronds are, yeah, they're just quite large. So, and this is about 18 months in. And as you can see, we do not have a pineapple. I'm hopeful though. Thank you all for joining me today. It has been great fun showing you a trick that I learned years ago, and I hope that you find it helpful as well.